Welcome to the Government News Brief for Wednesday, March 9, 2016. In the news, consumers can expect better service from the Guyana Power and Light. Hinterland Employment and Youth Service project is now in Region 1. Minister within the Ministry of Communities makes familiarization visit to housing schemes, and presidential inquiry into the Cram Street prison riot will be fair and impartial, says Chairman. With these and other stories, I am Sineca Thorne. Stay tuned. Thank you for staying with us. This is the Government News Brief. Consumers can expect better service from the Guyana Power and Light. Hear how in this report.
Approximately 830 kilometers of GPL's main distribution network will be rehabilitated. Emphasis will be on reducing electricity losses and improving safety and reliability. Government is also examining a number of unserved areas with a view of providing electricity so as to improve residents' living conditions. The low-voltage distribution network in Phase 2 in Regions 4, 5, and 6 will be rehabilitated. A US $5 million loan from the Inter-American Development Bank will buttress the power company's initiatives. Meanwhile, all consumers will start benefiting from a 10 to 15% rebate from April 1.
For residential consumers, totaling $166,000, the benefit that is expected for them is $7,000 monthly. For commercial consumers, sir, 10,000 of them, they will save $36,000 every month. And so for them, in large industrial consumers, $1.5 million every month. So these savings is anticipated to boost their productivity.
The administration as well is seeking to add more power to the national grid. It is negotiating a power purchase agreement with a private developer for a US $50 million wind farm at Hope Beach. This renewable form of energy will result in less energy costs to the power company and subsequently lower costs for electricity for consumers. Government is also pursuing other forms of renewable energy as it moves towards greening of the economy. Shanta Goberdan with this Government News Brief.
Hinterland Employment and Youth Service project is now in Kwabana Village Region 1. More in this report.
The HAZE project, which was launched on October 1, 2015, in keeping with the government's mandate to provide Guyanese with a better quality of life through education and training, is gaining steam. According to the Minister in the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, Valerie Garrido-Lowe, the project has resumed after the budget's passage, as was promised. The youths from Cabana are now being given the opportunity to elevate themselves by learning new skills.
20 youths will be able to learn 2 skills at least. At Quibana there, I see they need to, it's a lumbering village, so joinery and carpentry, value-added products would come in really wonderful there.
At the beginning of the year, youths from the community had started to construct a joinery building, and the now completed building will be used to facilitate the training.
The ministry had also, for this year, Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs had financed $5 million for the youth. So right now they have finished building the joinery building where they have to install all the joinery equipment. So we'll be using that equipment to teach the youths how to make chairs and beds and cupboards and all those things.
The HAZE project, which was launched in Paramakatay Region 8, replaces the controversial Youth Entrepreneurial and Apprenticeship Program, YEAP. The program, which will run for 1 year, targets Indigenous youths between the ages 18 to 35 for self-development through skills training. It is intended to facilitate 6 months of in-house and practical training, along with another 6 months attachment to an office or organization relevant to the student's area of study. For this Government News Brief, Shivani Rampersad reporting.
Morocco International Women's Day celebration was joined by government ministers. Here's more.
Residents in Morocco, Region 1, celebrated International Women's Day with government ministers Valerie Garrido-Lowe, Dawn Hastings, and Catherine Hughes. Minister Hughes says the celebration was to acknowledge the importance, endurance, and value that women display.
One of the great things about women is that we are able to transcend a lot of the divisions that sometimes exist in our society.
Additionally, Minister Hughes acknowledged that the role of women is difficult when it comes to parenting, since they are tasked with instilling values, confidence, and so many other things, regardless if one isn't up to the task. Minister within the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, Valerie Garida Lowe, pointed out that women have come a long way and now are able to vote.
Our girls should be given the chance to go to school and live a normal life, to get their education, and they must be given the opportunity to be safe in their communities.
International Women's Day, March 8th, is an annual global day celebrating the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. The day also marks a call to action for accelerating gender parity. With this Government News Brief, I'm Shanaz Low reporting.
Minister within the Ministry of Communities, Valerie Patterson, made a familiarization visit to several housing schemes on the east and west bank of Demerara. More in this report.
Minister Sharp Patterson visited Farm, Providence Phase 1, 2, and 3, the Remigrant Scheme, Covent Garden, Horstelling, and Diamond on the East Bank, Demerara, and Schoonard, Parfaith Harmony, Lust and Rust, Westminster, and Rec Dorsey on the West Bank of Demerara. The objective was to evaluate the level of infrastructure works that is in place and what needs to be done, and to assess the level of occupancy in those areas.
I wanted to know the level of infrastructure work because, as I've said so many times on camera and with the radio, that our policy is not to give a house a lot, but to give a piece of land that has all the infrastructure work, road, water, and light. And being involved with allocations with the management, I need to ensure that we're doing just that.
Minister Sharp Patterson assured those persons that have been allocated house lots in Covent Garden that infrastructural works will start shortly so that they can start occupying the land. Funding for this project is provided in this year's budget. The minister is, however, satisfied with the level of occupancy in the Lust and Rust and Rec Dorsey West Bank of Demerara areas.
I really feel good about what I saw. Yes, there is much more work to be done, but as I said, the budget will take care of that. And it's heartening to see that people have begun to occupy, particularly Lust and Rust. The CEO was saying to me the last time she visited, there was no house. And now we see quite a number, and it's very encouraging. For the areas that do not have electricity as yet, we will be doing so shortly.
This year, the Housing Department will upgrade and install drainage, roads, electricity, and water infrastructure in 15 housing areas in regions 3, 4, 5, and 6. Shanti Goberdan with this Government News Brief.
Inquiry into the Camp Street prison riot will be fair and impartial, says Chairman.
The Commission of Inquiry appointed by President David Granger, in keeping with its mandate, formally begins its work tomorrow. Chairman, retired Judge James Patterson, outlined today how the body will fulfill its mandate.
We have to find out what happened and how it did happen. To that end, we will take the testimonies of prisoners, the officers involved, and perhaps it would be tidier to have them first. We have to look into what happened that ought not to have happened.
The chairman added that the standard operating procedures will be assessed and arrangements made to utilize certain documentary aids from the prison and police officers.
The mandate of commissions of inquiry is really narrow, is very wide, because the whole concept is to get to the bottom of it. And to that end, although we have all the powers of a high court judge, to that end, the strictures of certain aspects of the Evidence Act would be relaxed, but not to be overdone. Once we don't traduce the laws of natural justice. That makes sense, in my view.
The other members of the commission are former Prison Service Director Dale Erskine and human rights activist Merle Mendonza. The COI was ordered by President David Granger after the worst prison riot in local history on March 3rd left 17 dead and several other injured. The COI should conclude its work by March 28, 2016. Namila Bainsrow for this government news brief.
We are pleased to advise you that the Government Information Agency will be hosting pictorial exhibitions at various locations under the theme A Look Back at Time, the Birth of a Nation. The exhibition is informative, educational, and a reflection of Ghana's independence era. The public is invited. If you're interested in having Gina's exhibition at your school or event, please contact us on telephone number 226-6715 or 225-4255. We have come to the end of the Government News Brief, Wednesday, March 9, 2016. The Government News Brief, along with all other GNet programs, can be found on our website. We are also on Facebook and YouTube. On behalf of all of us here at GNA, thank you for watching.